Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me today. And we are back for another episode with crypto and real estate. My name is Nick Gumpert. I'm with Remax Top Producers, and I am a crypto certified agent. So just want to share some information, kind of break it down for you, because I know sometimes these new topics can be a frustrating one and a challenging one to understand. So I'm just chunking the information and breaking down some facets of the cryptocurrency space for everybody out there that wants to know and learn a little bit more. So before I get started today, just wanted to reiterate this is to better understand these concepts, whether it be blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, tokens, and smart contracts. And that's today's topic, being smart contracts. No part of this information should be taken as legal or investment advice. So just want to make that clear up front. So let's begin. What is a smart contract? A smart contract is a computer protocol that facilitates and secures the performance of a contract, as the terms of the agreement between buyers and sellers are directly written into the lines of code. So it exists in the digital space, these smart contracts, and they're like an if-then statement. If this happens, then that triggers the next step to be allowed to happen. So it gets rid of a lot of potential to create fraudulent activity. Again, based on the fact that in order for the next step to happen, the prior one needs to happen first. Smart contracts authorize valid transactions without the need of third parties. Those traceable transactions cannot be changed or altered. So that's another detail of smart contracts and what they are. No agreement can be executed if its terms do not meet the established standards. So again, no shortcuts can be made here. The smart contract protocol confirms the legitimacy of the agreement first. When the requirements are met, smart contracts execute themselves. So smart contracts are not legal agreements. Again, they are a contract to facilitate information and make sure all standards have been maintained throughout. How a smart contract works. Smart contracts raise the security bar in property deals and reduce the cost of conducting a transaction. Again, because you don't need a human to facilitate. Once I get my signature, now I need to email that person to get their signature, right? It's all built into the system. Various cryptocurrencies have already implemented different types of smart contracts. And smart contracts allow for the exchange of money, goods, real estate securities, and other assets. So the longer smart contracts are around, the more accepted they are, and the more people are willing to try them to see how secure they are, right? Because that's the whole basis of it, is that they're a very secure way to transfer information. So how does a smart contract work? I put it down below. Example A commits a transaction with example B. Okay, several transactions are grouped into a block. That's the concept of a blockchain. The block is checked by network nodes. Nodes are any electrical device. That's just a synonymous term. In cryptocurrency, in the cryptocurrency space, they reference anything that's an electronic platform as a node. So the block is checked by network nodes using cryptographic methods. Okay, again, a fancy way of describing it, makes sure everything's legitimate. The block is indexed and added to the blockchain to which all users have access. Okay, so again, everybody is making sure no step is skipped, that all standards are met. And then B receives the transaction from A. So that's how a smart contract works in the background. That's an example there. So benefits of smart contracts, what are they? So described them a little bit, briefly explained how they work. What are the benefits? Reduce closing times. Whereas blockchain and smart contracts cannot substitute local and federal authorities, these technologies speed up the transaction process. So again, these are not the legal pieces of paper. They facilitate the transaction process. And again, because it's built in the background, I'm not dependent on receiving the email from a middleman first. Protection against fraud. Forged documents, false listing information, and rental-related scams are practically impossible when there is a digital proof of property ownership that is stored on the blockchain. So again, because whatever entities are part of the blockchain, because they oversee it, it makes it that much more difficult to do fraudulent activity. Savings. Smart contracts help cut out operational costs as you can omit middlemen involved in the transaction. Okay, so it saves costs for all parties involved. Errors. The removal of human factor ensures high accuracy when executing contracts. And security. Smart contracts create a transparent environment where no party can prevail over the other during the whole transaction process. Okay, so you have a peace of mind when using smart contracts. Smart contracts and deeds. Deeds, now we're getting into the real estate specific space, and wanted to dig into this a little bit based on the fact that I'm a real estate agent. Wanted to give you a little bit of a backstory or back-end information. Smart contracts are basically contracts put into computer code that is self-executed when certain requirements are met. Again, it's like an if-then scenario. If this happens, then that can happen. The buyer's funds and seller's property deed can be placed into a smart contract, and only after both parties fulfill their obligations, they would both digitally sign a transaction that would transfer the money to the seller and the deed to the buyer. It's not that different in today's day and age here in 2022, right? So much happens digitally with DocuSigns and that documentation. I think this just takes an extra step and creates an extra layer of security. Using smart contracts is ultimately what we're getting at here. Ultimately, smart contracts and blockchain create a fraud-proof system. One of the main points in a property sale is related to validating ownership documents. Land registers are slow and are prone to corruption or inaccuracies. Now, all deeds and all transaction-related data can be saved on a decentralized storage, and thus information is protected against alteration or damage. The whole history of a transaction is recorded with redundant copies and easily accessible to relevant parties. Okay, so that's in a nutshell, that's the best way to be as concise as possible for how smart contracts and deeds can work moving forward. Last one here, guys, when it comes to smart contracts, benefits of deeds with a blockchain address. Last week I talked about blockchains. This week we're talking about smart contracts, so now we're integrating them. Improved efficiency when deeds have a blockchain address, being facilitated by a smart contract. Improved efficiency. The deed recording currently charges some burdensome administrative costs. Usually, a physical deed must be processed at the local recording office first. It is scanned onto the country's or county's centralized database, and then data is manually input onto a public index. A blockchain-based registry could greatly reduce and even eliminate the constant need for scanning, printing, and organizing physical files at the local recorder's offices. So again, it just facilitates information that much quicker when blockchains are used to facilitate information. Authentic record of ownership that can be updated in real time. The manual indexing process is also susceptible to human error, where mistakes could cause future difficulties in accurately tracking chain of title. Right? That's why you have title insurance in that process to make sure we found a mistake here, we need to correct it, what do we have to do? Now there's extra steps to be done. Blockchain technology has the potential to record the transfer of real estate property rights in a transaction in real time without mistakes. Last but not least, fraud and damage proof decentralized ledger. Finally, centralized databases where recorded deeds are currently stored are vulnerable to attacks by parties seeking to steal, forge, or alter existing records. Blockchain-based registries, on the other hand, may guarantee that any such attempt to corrupt the information is practically impossible to succeed. Furthermore, technology protects data in the case of a natural disaster and prevents destroying data. So benefits of deeds with blockchain addresses, there's a snapshot as to the benefits of them and the differences. So you have something to come back to. You have something to reference there in the future. So guys, again, my name is Nick Gumpert. I'm a 3Max Top Producers located in Southern California. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, if I can help you or anybody you may know that's talking about making transactions in a cryptocurrency. I'm happy to help as best I can. There's my contact information. Thank you for joining, and I'll be continuing to update this YouTube channel to continue to share information and learn. So hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Have a good one.